Two people, both connected to Ellen DeGeneres, both dead under strange circumstances, and both tried to speak out before they were gone. Heche was an actress who'd spent decades trying to get people to hear her truth. She warned the world about Ellen, about the control, the manipulation, and something even darker brewing behind closed doors. Then, just months before she died in a bizarre car crash, she reached out to someone else, Steven, Twitch boss, Ellen's longtime DJ. And what she told him sent chills down his spine. She said, "Watch your back." 4 months later, Twitch was found dead in a motel room. No note, no explanation, just gone. So, what exactly was Anne trying to expose? And why are so many people convinced Ellen DeGeneres isn't who she seems? Let's unravel it. In the final year of her life, Anne Heche went on a mission to reclaim her story. For years, she'd been branded crazy, erratic, and unwell. But when her podcast episode aired in 2021, everything changed. For the first time, Anne revealed what really happened behind the scenes of her relationship with Ellen. And what she described wasn't love. It was control. Anne said Ellen cut her off from her friends, that Ellen didn't want a girlfriend who needed a social life, that when Anne asked for space to breathe, Ellen's response was, "No." She went even further, claiming Ellen conspired with Anne's own mother to have her committed to a psychiatric institution. In her words, "Why do you think she tried to put me in an institution, folks? I called my mother, two people who wanted more than anything to have my truth buried." And while many dismissed Anne's claims as emotional outbursts, she was calm, measured, heartbroken, and determined to be heard. Anne said Ellen was obsessed with one thing, money. That while Anne chased love, Ellen chased billions. And when their values clashed, Ellen cut Anne loose and then worked behind the scenes to destroy her. "I hope you like your money," Anne said in the podcast, "because that's why I broke up with you." But Anne wasn't just trying to reclaim her story. She was trying to warn others. Around the time her podcast episode aired, Anne had a private conversation with someone close to Ellen, Steven, Twitch boss. According to Anne, she was deeply concerned about how Ellen was treating him. Publicly, Twitch was all smiles, laughs, and dance moves. But behind the scenes, Anne suggested he was struggling. She never said his name, but fans put the pieces together. Anne said she'd spoken to someone who smiles for the cameras but is suffering behind the scenes. She urged him to get out now, warning that staying silent was dangerous. Then, just 4 months after Anne's crash, Twitch took his own life. Or at least, that's the official story. No note, no red flags, no cries for help. He walked out of his house one morning, checked into a motel less than a mile away, and was found dead just hours later. Staff said he seemed completely fine. No visible stress, nothing out of the ordinary. Even stranger, no one heard the gunshot. And if you think that's eerie, consider this. Anne's warning to Twitch came just months before both of them died. Was it just coincidence? Or did they both know something they weren't supposed to share? Anne didn't just lose a relationship when she broke up with Ellen. According to her, she lost everything. Soon after their split, Anne found herself iced out of Hollywood. Casting offers disappeared. Studios pulled back. And one of the biggest blows? She was banned from appearing on Ellen's talk show. For most celebrities, that might not seem like a big deal, but in Anne's world, it meant total erasure. If you weren't allowed on Ellen's show, your film or series didn't get the promo push it needed, and studios saw you as a liability. Ellen, once the smiling queen of daytime television, allegedly used her influence to make Anne disappear. And Anne knew it. On her podcast, she exposed how Ellen turned Hollywood against her. She described it as a calculated campaign to destroy her credibility, frame her as unstable, and cut her off from every opportunity. She said, "Every single truth I spoke, I was hit more, buried more, despised more." She claimed her ex wasn't just hiding the truth. She was actively rewriting it. Anne's mental health and substance use history were dragged out repeatedly. But Anne insisted she wasn't spiraling out of nowhere. She was self-medicating to survive. And just when you thought it couldn't go deeper, it did. According to several reports, in the final months before her death, Anne was working on something massive. A documentary, not about her career, not about Ellen, but about something much darker. The elite's obsession with youth, and the disturbing rituals behind it. It's been said that Anne was investigating celebrity wellness fads, human trafficking networks, and the whispered rumors around adrenochrome harvesting, a chemical some conspiracy theories claim is linked to satanic rituals and underground networks in Hollywood. Now, let's be clear, these claims are highly controversial and unproven. But what's chilling is that multiple sources said Anne believed she had uncovered something real. And when you consider the fact that she died before any footage from that documentary was released, people started asking questions. Was Anne silenced? Was her fatal crash intentional? Because she wasn't the first woman connected to Ellen to die suddenly. Back in the 1980s, long before Ellen became a household name, she dated a woman named Kat Perkoff. Kat was an artist, bold, free-spirited. According to those who knew her, she was fiercely independent and wasn't afraid to challenge Ellen. But then, not long after their breakup, Kat died in a car crash. And just like Anne's, the story didn't make sense. Officially, the cause was accidental collision. But rumors swirled that Kat's death was tied to something much deeper, potential mob involvement, or even a cover-up. Some even believe Kat was Ellen's first sacrifice, claiming Ellen's career took off right after Kat's death. Her stand-up gigs exploded. Her TV deals accelerated. And slowly, she became America's daytime sweetheart. It sounds insane, but when you line up the timeline, it gets harder to ignore. Kat Perkoff, Anne Heche, Stephen Twitch Boss, all connected, all gone, all under circumstances that left more questions than answers. August 5th, 2022, Los Angeles. Anne Heche was seen driving her Mini Cooper erratically through the Mar Vista neighborhood. Security footage captured her car speeding down alleyways and neighborhood streets. So fast, it blurred past cameras. Before the final crash, she'd already hit a garage in a minor fender bender. A bystander even yelled at her to get out of the vehicle. Instead, Anne slammed the car into reverse and tore away. Just minutes later, she blew through an intersection and plowed directly into a home. Her car didn't stop at the wall. It went 30 feet into the building. A fire ignited almost instantly. Firefighters took over 40 minutes to pull her out. And when they finally did, that's where things took a disturbing turn. Initial reports claimed Anne was in a coma, that she was unresponsive, that she might not make it. But then video surfaced, footage that changed everything. As Anne's body was wheeled out on a stretcher, covered in a white sheet, suddenly she sat up. You read that right. She pushed back the cover, sat upright, and appeared to try to escape the stretcher. Reporters on the scene were stunned. One even referred to her as a he, because no one expected the person under the sheet to be moving. Moments later, Anne was sedated. She never regained consciousness again. And within days, she was declared brain dead. But here's where it gets weirder. On August 7th, major news outlets, including The Guardian, reported Anne was in stable condition, that she was expected to survive. By the next day, her condition was listed as critical. By August 11th, doctors said she likely wouldn't make it, and on August 14th, she was taken off life support. So what happened in those 7 days? Why did her status change so rapidly? And what about the footage that showed her alive? Very much alive, just moments after the crash. There was no alcohol in her system, no narcotics. The toxicology report was clear. So what were they trying to hide? Twitch's death sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. He had a family, a career. He was known for spreading joy and dancing through life. There were no warning signs, no messages, no final goodbyes. But it wasn't just what happened that disturbed people. It was how it happened. Twitch left his house one morning without his phone, checked into a motel less than a mile away, and then never left. The motel staff said he seemed normal, smiling, friendly, nothing unusual at all. Hours later, his body was found. No gunshot heard. No staff reports of any strange noises. But the eeriest part? His connection to Anne and his loyalty to Ellen. People started combing through old clips, looking for clues. That's when a segment resurfaced from The Ellen Show, where rapper Diddy made a strange joke on air. He said he had the tapes, that he could expose Ellen and Twitch. But he wouldn't, because he didn't want any problems. The camera cuts to Twitch. His smile is gone. His body language changes instantly. He shifts, clearly uncomfortable. It was brushed off as a joke. But now, people are wondering, what exactly did Diddy mean? And what tapes was he talking about? Was Twitch involved in something he didn't want to be a part of? Was he carrying secrets that became too dangerous? And most importantly, was his death really his decision? Let's look at the pattern. Anne Heche spoke out against Ellen, warned Twitch, exposed the power games behind the scenes, died in a crash that made no sense after being seen alive on video. Twitch, loyal to Ellen, possibly struggling behind the scenes, died in silence just months after Anne. Kat Perkoff, dated Ellen, died in a car crash right before Ellen's career exploded. All women and men tied to the same central figure. All silenced, all dismissed. And the few who tried to speak up? Branded crazy, discredited, erased. So maybe the real question isn't whether this is all a coincidence. The question is, what happens when the truth becomes too dangerous to tell? And how many more voices will be silenced before someone finally listens? If you found this story disturbing, you're not alone. Hit like, drop a comment below, and let us know what you think is really going on behind the scenes. Because what's happening in Hollywood might be darker than anyone's willing to admit.